Hi, this is Dina, Pretty Productive. Welcome back to my channel. Today what I'm going to be doing is a June budget setup. Very detailed June budget setup. You're going to see some new forms this month because our budget has changed, and I'm going to kind of walk you through the changes as we start to set up. So I just wanted to first talk about the prep work that happens before I even can get to sit down do this part. And that is to go back through my May expenses, look forward at June, July, and August to see what's going to come out that's going to be a bigger, impact to my budget. Do I have sinking funds that are going to cover that, or do I need to start building that out of my new budget? Then I take a look at every single one of my cash envelopes. Do I need to make additional cash envelopes? Are there envelopes I can get rid of? What categories need to stay? What categories need to go? So I do a lot of deep diving into the kind of the details of the budget so that when I'm ready to create the budget, I'm not forgetting about something that's coming very quickly that's going to impact my budget. Then I go through and I just literally write down, so this is an example of kind of how I start. I go through every one of my sinking funds. I write down what the beginning balance is, and that's how I calculate what I'm going to add to that budget. So certain ones like birthdays, car insurance, Christmas, those are an automatic. I take those right off the top before I even look at where I can play a little bit with my sinking funds, because those are the ones I've calculated. I know how much I need to take out every month for when that money is needed. So for example, for my daughter's birthday, her birthday's in July, I take $50 a month out. And then by July, and I normally like to be completely funded by June, but this year is not going to be. So it will be funded by the beginning of July, and her birthday is the end of July. That way I'm not stressed about where am I going to get that money from and having to pull back on other categories in the month of July. So I go through and figure that out. And then once I've figured out the ones that I absolutely have to fund, then you kind of get to play a little bit. And I will tell you, for this particular budget, there was really not a lot of play. So it wasn't as fun as my normal budgets, but when I lay out the budgets, you're going to see why that is. So then I calculate what is going to be cash. So those are those little green dots. And then what is a transfer to Capital One, because I do have a Capital One credit card that I use, pay off every month. And all of my sinking funds that are online get transferred into Capital One savings accounts. And then from there, when I use my card, I just pull from the sinking fund and pay off my card with that money. And then I also have a credit union. That's like our household account. I do transfer there too, I have a vacation account, a checking account, and a savings account all attached together. So I do a transfer there as well. And before any of this happens, I do a check register. I write in every single transfer so that I'm not at the end of the month going, why do I have extra money in my checking account? And, I should have this much now in this sinking fund, but I don't. And then I go back and did I remember to put that transfer in there? So I literally write it out in my checking account as a bill, and then schedule those transfers for the first of the month so that they're done. I don't even have to question if I did or not. So those are the steps I take prior to sitting down to film. I also do a mock budget, and my mock budget probably has 15 different revisions every time. And I do that because I think of different things, or I look at something, I look up something and I'm like, okay, I'm probably underestimating my electricity bill, or I'm overestimating my Southwest gas bill, and I go back to my annual bills spread in my planner. And I don't show this very often because a lot of you have, followed me for so long, but this is kind of the yearly budget setup. And then for sinking funds, but where is my other one? Oh, I did in my other notebook. Okay, well, scratch that thought. But I do have a spreadsheet that has every month what I paid in electricity, water, etc. And those are what I pull from when I'm trying to estimate. I also, on my apps for like electricity, I can go through and look at what my estimated bill is going to be. So those are all my prep things. And then once I get what I'm going to pull out in cash, I have a spreadsheet and I just go ahead and break it down, and then I bring my back to bank in, and then this is the amount that I need to pull out. And then I just transfer that onto my card, and then this is what I'll take to the bank today to pull the cash out for my cash stuffing. So that's all prep work. So let me walk you through the budget, and I'll kind of tell you what's changing and what is staying the same. So for our income, my husband has a pension and I have a pension, and his pension is every single month. That's what he gets. My pension, I tell my financial planner how much to pull. So I've always gone back and forth of when I'm working and having incremental income, how much do I pull? And every time I thought I was going to stop pulling because I did have incremental income that could replace that, then my contract would either be up for renewal, and then they would renew it kind of at the last minute. And then in March, I didn't sign my next contract. I'm supposed to go back in either August or September, but you know, I am picking up a few hours with my job before I did the contract job. So that part of my incremental income has been super sporadic. So I don't like to depend on it. So I did go ahead and continue to pull, and then whatever money I made incrementally, I put into savings, so that I kind of was developing that cushion so I could eventually just stop pulling from that. So I did pull half now. So what you're going to see in our budget enabled me to cut that amount that I do in half. I do take my husband's pension and mine, and I just divide it by 2 so that he has a little bit of, I don't know what the word is, comfort in knowing that I'm not putting every single number out in the internet. So if I look at my husband's and mine, we both get our pensions monthly. And so that's $3,918 each. So a total of $7,836. So right there you can see that we are going to be bringing home less money, which is okay. My daughter is going to start paying her bills in June, but I don't, put those into the budget because that's really just paying myself back for things I've paid for her. And incremental income I do not put on here because if I get sick or something is canceled, then the hours are gone. So I am probably going to work a couple days in June. There's not a lot going on. So you'll see weekly when I get a paycheck for that job what I do with that money. So the reason we are able to cut my pension in half is we paid off our house. We did. We were very blessed to have a inheritance from my mother-in-law when she passed 11 years ago. And we just now got that payout. So it was completely aligned with paying off our house. So, we went back and forth and brought our financial planner into the conversation. And I will tell you, it is very hard to take this beautiful lump sum of money that could earn interest and pay off the house, because we did have it financed at a very low rate. But at the end of the day, for us to feel like we can just retire 100%, we wanted the house. That was our last bill. So we paid off our house. So we no longer have a mortgage. But what I did find when you no longer have a mortgage is everything that's paid out of your escrow account, then you need to save for. So what came on to my budget was my homeowner's insurance, which is normally paid from escrow, my property tax, which is paid from escrow, and also I think those are the only 2 things. Yes. Just those 2. Okay. So we pay our homeowner's insurance. It was 2. Part of it came out of our escrow account. Part of it we paid an umbrella. And we pay those directly for the year, as well as our auto insurance. Those are both going to be due on July 26th. So I needed to make sure I had that money for it. And then on our property tax, they had just paid the April payment. We took the October payment and put that in a separate account, so that was there. And then I took and calculated what the next year, April of 24 and October of 24 would be, divided that by 17 months that I had to save for it, and started calculating what I needed to put aside every single month so I could have that money when I needed it to pay that off. So again, that's just how my brain works. That's how I feel more comfortable. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So without the mortgage, we did go ahead and put, finally hired somebody to do our yards because my husband's going to be traveling a lot, and really in the summertime, it's miserable. So that will be $140.70 every other week. Phone will be $262 still. Electricity, it's already trending at $300, and I don't even have my final bill, so I'm going to put $350. My water bill is in, it's $88. My Southwest gas, I'm putting $50 in because that's what it ran last year, but it varies. Last month it was $44. Internet stays at $120. DirecTV at $110. Netflix at $17. HBO Plus is $11. Hulu is $16. Life insurance for my husband and I is $106. Our gym is $59. Car wash is $25. Our medical insurance, which is always our big bill, is now $1,370. So these are what I'm calling my fixed expenses. These are going to happen every month, no matter what. Then under here, I have my variable sinking fund for my variable fixed expenses, and that's our homeowner's insurance, our auto insurance. So our auto insurance, I put away $200 a month for. Homeowner's insurance, because it is due in July, and I need to save $900. So I'm going to take my escrow refund, which should be about $1,200, and then $900, and that will pay the $2,100. And then once that's paid and I have a whole year, I won't have to save $450 a month for that bill. I can break down the $2,100 divided by the 12, and that will be a lot more comfortable. Property tax, I'm calculating $290. So again, that's 17 months that I have to save to pay for the entire year of 2024. And then my HOA, I'm putting $80 a month away. That is quarterly. And then pest control, I do have service this month. It was supposed to be last month, but it rolled into June. So that will be $95. Then when this month is paid, because it is quarterly, I'll be putting $35 away for it, just to kind of level out the bills. So in my variable sinking fund, it's $1,115. In my sinking funds, $262, $350, $88. 15 plus 120, 110. Now I live in Arizona, so this will be my high part of the year for my electricity bills. So I have in the past gone ahead and just estimated like an average of $250, and then anything that I didn't spend, I just put into kind of a cash envelope, and that helps to offset the months that is just miserably high. Okay, so total fixed expenses is $3,839. So before it was like $5,200. So, you know, taking out a $3,300 mortgage, yes, is less money that we pay. But when you bring in the other things that you normally don't see because it's part of your mortgage, then it kind of offsets some of that money. That's why my budget was tighter, because I kind of just said, take off half of my pension, and then I, you know, started calculating, and I'm like, I could always put some back in, but I really want to, you know, I'd rather have a tighter budget and keep that money in the account versus pull it out and have extra money. So that's kind of been my logic right now. Most of these expenses kind of stayed the same. This is a 4-week month on my budget because I did May as a 5-week month. So groceries, $300 in cash. and $300 online. I think I only have HelloFresh once because my husband is traveling and I'm traveling this month, so I don't do HelloFresh when we're traveling. Eating out will be $200, spending $200, my mom $100, entertainment $100, miscellaneous $100, personal care $200, household $100. Gas I left at $250. Might need to take that up. Medicine $100, giving $100, and then sterling ink $36, planner spot $35, elements is massage $80, audible $16. I'm not going to do this one. I took a break I ended up getting it last month, and then I'm going to take a break. And then Coffee Monster Co. at $49. But I am signing up for a different one. It's called Faded Chronicle. It's $43, so a lot less than the Paper Minty Studio, which is about $99. Okay, so for my lifestyle is what I call these. $309. Okay, so I used to be able to put $1,000 into savings. I can no longer do that, so I'm doing $500. And so that gives me 4 sinking funds. 3839 plus 2309 plus 500 minus 7836 is 1,188. Now, I did go ahead and break out what I was putting into sinking funds, so we already know I spent that money. And so my total expenses should equal my income, 3839 plus 2309 plus 500 plus 1188 is 7836. So it balances. So that is the budget. So over here, I kind of just take my groups that you saw down here and just plug it in over here. So I think I said on my last video that I had one big car fund and I wasn't clear like what I needed for which. So I did separate them out. So my car maintenance and tags, I do have the money for my tags, which will be due in September, which were like almost $700 last year, which should come down a little bit because the car is another year older. And then I was saving for tires. So I have $1,700 in for tires. I probably need to put another $300-400 in there to be safe, but I'm pretty comfortable with what I have right there for right now. I don't need to add to it. Christmas, I always put in $300. My envelopes, which are all of my different sinking fund envelopes, is going to be, oh, I forget now. So it should be $740. I don't know if that's right or not though. General is not getting funded, gifts not getting funded, home improvement is not, medical is not, technology is not, vacation is getting $268. That goes to my credit union, and wedding is getting $200. So my daughter is getting married in October of 2024. We did set a budget that we had to revise very quickly. We really found out what the costs of weddings were. And we are definitely cash flowing it. And so I only owe that account maybe another $10,000. But I've got, 17 months to do that. So I definitely wanted to put 500 in, but right now it's going to be 200. And then any incremental money I have will build up first vacation, and then it will start to build up wedding. And the reason why vacation is more of a priority is I have 2 weeks of vacation in July. We did rent a beach house. I owe the second payment in June, and that is coming out of my vacation fund that I have right now. And then the other one is already paid for. It just needs, like vacation money, food and stuff like that, which I'm starting to save for that in cash. So those are right now the priorities. Those are my only vacation plans that I know of. And so, I can really focus on wedding after that. I also know that if push comes to shove, I have that money in my savings account if I need to pull money over. But the way that the hotel is, it's staggered for when the money is due. Like I already made one payment, the next payment is due in January, and then it's April. And so there's not like one check I have to write until the very end when that's like our final expenses. But she was very clear on, it's not going to go over that amount. It could go under a little bit based on our counts, things like that. So if you are planning a wedding for yourself or for a family member, just my thoughts are with you. It is really expensive. And luckily my daughter is super creative and is doing a lot of the actual like decor herself, the invitations, all that kind of stuff. So that's helping to offset some of the expenses. But photographer, DJ, all of those, it's been adding up quickly. And we did go dress shopping, and she's really good about what she wants and how much she wants to spend. So every time she looks at me, I'm like, the money is what the money is. So however it gets spent, that's the money that we have to spend. So anyways, so this is my new budget. So I'm really not, kind of wrap my head around the fact that we don't have a mortgage. I don't think I ever in my life, I had hoped and I had planned for it, but I really thought it would be a lot later in life that we would be making that mortgage payment. So it truly was a blessing. And we are very excited to kind of do a little bit of home remodel and really just take some vacation time and just relax a little bit, because neither one of us are really good about retiring. So all good. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know down below. And if you have not already subscribed, please do so. I will be back this weekend for a cash stuffing for my June cash envelopes. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.